Welcome to the second lesson on exponents and the rules of exponents. The lesson we're going to work on is the third slide in this Google Slides page. The link is the most important thing, and I find it probably the best explanation of this topic that I could find. So if you want the link, it's there. Otherwise, you can just follow along. Coolmath.com, like what a great website. I wish I had thought of this domain name. I would have definitely bought it and made lots of money. But they have some good references with the exponents section that we're working on. So the title is Exponents with Negative Bases. Remember also that we are using our guided notes. They're here in this document, and there's a section on exponents with negative bases. Okay, so the base, remember, is this piece here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Perfect. The base is this piece, the big number. The exponent, also called the power, is the small number written to the top right of the base. And we could have a situation where we have a negative number as a base. Okay, and there's two types of situations. There's a negative with the brackets like this, and negative without the brackets. And it's very different outcomes to what happens when you have brackets and not brackets. So if we have brackets, it means that we're multiplying the thing in the brackets as many times as the exponent says. So in this case, we're multiplying it twice. So we have minus 5. I'm going to try and use this cursor. Minus 5 times minus 5. When you multiply two negative numbers together, you get a positive result. So the answer is 25. So negative 5 in the brackets like this to the power of 2 gives you positive 25 as an answer. If we were to look at the second example where we had the trying to get this cursor to stay on. It's okay. Where we had the negative 5. Maybe I'll try here. Ooh, okay. So if we have negative 5 without brackets, this is going to give us a different answer because negative 5 stays out front, and then we do 5 squared, which is 5 times 5. So our final result is going to be negative in this situation without brackets. Okay, so you can see the difference between the two right here. You have negative 5 squared with brackets gives you 25, and negative 5 squared without the brackets gives you negative 25. The same is true if we look at this one, negative 3 squared, or negative 3 squared without the brackets. This one is going to be negative 9, whereas this one is going to be positive 9, and the answers are down here. We have one more situation, though. Let's have you do these two questions. So I'll put these on Edpuzzle. You'll be able to answer those two questions. But there's one other situation if we have an odd power. Okay, so what if we did 5 to the power of 3, for example? Well, in this case, because you're doing negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5, you're doing two negatives multiplied together. That gives you positive 25. And then 25 times negative 5 gives you negative 125. So in this case, you'll notice they're still both going to be negative. So if you have an odd power and a negative base, then you're going to get a negative answer. But if you have an even power here and a negative base, you're going to get a positive answer. So it's a bit confusing to think about, but when you spell it out like this, long form, it makes sense. Okay, so here's a couple more examples to try. Let's just look at these ones here. Negative 2 to the power of 4 and without the brackets, and then negative 2 to the power of 5 and without the brackets. We'll talk about those two in the Edpuzzle questions. Okay, good luck with that, and there's some practice problems for you to try attached to this afterwards.